can't remember if I showed this last time.
I don't remember if you did or not, or like if you showed it when I when I acted like we were recording, we weren't.
I think I did show those last time.
Yeah, you might have. But
yeah.
that's going to be Z in the Orioles game in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I don't know how this applies. I mean, there's literally a baby in the photo.
Doesn't look like the mother or the father.
Oh, no, it definitely doesn't. Yeah, I think I definitely showed that last time.
Yeah, you might have, but they can see the little one again, so.
Yeah, whatever.
Z, do you want to explain that you're not going to be able to see your other niece for 3 months?
Well,
and
the so you guys know our sister. Well, my sister. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Our sister Danielle, not blood related to N. I don't think anybody wants to be blood related to that guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Just nightmares.
Yeah, you're right.
My sister gave. I mean, I don't know if she's really put it out there for the rest of the world to see, so I'm going to say it. Hope she's okay with it. She gave birth to her second child. Yep. So congratulations to Dee. We'll start it off with dedicating the episode to her.
2 children in 1 year.
Well, no, like a year and a half.
I know, I'm kidding. Relax.
Well, I guess probably no. We're not going to go there. Again, and I have our theories. We're not going to go any further with it. But congrats to Dee. Anyways, but what N was saying was, I asked Dee if she wanted me to come down and say hi or congratulate her with her second child. And she pretty much asked me to get some kind of shot. I don't know what it was. Let me see if I can pull it up what she said. But pretty much, and it was like, I think it was just like a flu shot. And respectfully, I told her no, because I'm not taking a flu shot. God.
Yeah, taking a flu shot just to see your niece.
Yeah. So it was either I get a flu shot or I wait 3 months to go and see her. So I told her I'm going to wait 3 months. I mean, I have a schedule myself. I don't need to be taking a shot and then being sick for 3 days then. It was here. I got it right here. Okay. It was a. She said, if you plan on seeing Ella before she's 3 months, all we are asking is people to have their Tdap shot. TDAP shot.
Never heard of that shot at all.
Never heard of it. And I'm afraid to look it up.
Yeah. Truly, you just don't know what you're putting in your body.
And I said, what the hell is Tdap? She says it's a more intense flu shot.
Yeah. I need a more intense flu shot. You're right.
Yeah. So I told her no. I didn't say it in a rude way. But let me see this episode. I mean, we're gonna get to the AFC West guys here pretty shortly, but just to educate you guys on maybe what this Tdap shot is, we'll go ahead and pull it up for the podcast.
Well, we might as well.
I mean, and of course, it's from the CDC.
Bunch of liars.
Yep. So there you go. A lot of words I don't really know how to pronounce.
No.
I mean, so anyways, and this is the shot that she wanted me to get.
Yeah. Think about it. Every single thing listed there, you have no idea what it means.
And I don't have a clue. So, yeah, well, there you go. I mean, I guess, see what we got here. Causes, hold on. You can't, let me go back there, tab. Causes painful stiffening to the muscles. Oh, that's great. It caused serious health problems. God, D.
I was enjoying not being able to open your mouth or swallow or breathe or death.
And she wanted me to take this shot. Can also lead to difficult breathing, heart failure, paralysis, or death. God. Also known as a whooping cough, can cause uncontrollable violent coughing that makes it hard to breathe, eat or drink.
Yeah, so the shot wants you to she wants you to get the shot to be able to prevent those things, but not really sure where these things are ultimately coming from.
That's what I'm saying. I guess this is the CDC though, so they're probably talking about COVID.
Yeah.
So anyways, moving past that. We're not gonna be getting a Tdap shot. So I'll be waiting.
Z, actually, before we start this, I was going to mention this over when we played next, but and I'll go a little bit more in depth about what was said in terms of relation to you. But I actually FaceTime Al on the other day.
Right.
And he was asking about it.
I know he's going through a difficult time.
Yeah. And we were... what was it? He was asking if we still did our shows or anything. So I hope you're watching this. But he said, Z, that you were effing lost. So
I mean, it's his year. It's his year. We're about a month away from the election.
Yep. So, but he told me to try to convince you to vote.
Yeah, of course, that's where the conversation turns into. It's all these two talk about.
Yeah, that's all we talk about.
Oh my god!
He said all he was doing was just trying to educate you. So,
sorry to let you guys know your vote don't matter. Neither of your votes matter.
Yeah, he said everything in politics affects your life, Z. So,
yeah, of course it does. Just so you guys know, playing Black Ops 6 in a month has to do with Donald Trump.
Yeah,
we're not gonna get into that because I mean that's Ann's heart and soul to talk about.
He did say you were lost, so we'll try to veer you on the right path, Z. We'll talk more a little later about what he said. Like I said, he'd still like to reach out, but it's not. Doesn't think it's gonna happen.
I don't have any interest. So, moving past that. See you later.
So if you're watching this, this guy still looks the same, thinks the same, walks the same, and other than that, Z, we'll continue on with AFC West.
I don't know, and you just turned that video into like the most random thing ever.
But it was funny, so we're keeping it in.
All right. Moving on to the AFC West. I mean, now that Ann Lily just threw off everything.
But it's funny. I know you guys don't know who Al is, but Z and Al at the end of the day, it's quite a dynamic.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it because he said that he was asking about the podcast and he might tune in. So
that's fine. He can tune in if he wants. The difference is, I don't wish anything bad on the guy. Don't really care about the guy nowadays. I'll say that live on air. So N's friend, not mine. But wish him the best.
Yeah. So well, there you go. That's all you got to know. So going to AFC West. As you've seen, the last recent episodes, we discussed the NFC as a whole, each division. We're going to go in the AFC West and talk about the AFC West and the AFC South today in two separate shows. But going to the AFC West, Z, it's pretty cut and dry. We all know whose division this is ultimately. Absolutely. But do you think that you think there's any level of 2023 preview?
Yeah, well, I thought I said 2024.
Yeah. Looking outside the Chiefs, which I don't know. I really just don't feel like we really have to cover Kansas City much. They are what they are. But really outside of them and these other three teams here that you see, is there any level of intrigue there for you with those three teams this year? Well,
sorry, that picture was not good. I thought I said 2024. Damn it. Now I'm trying to find a different one. Honestly, this division, like, I feel like back, during the Alex Smith, Phillip Rivers days was actually kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know this good one to use. I just think it's funny. So we'll go ahead and pull that one up.
Yeah, the Dragons.
Like I don't think the Raiders are a
the Raiders aren't. The Chargers aren't.
No, they're not.
So again, you might as well just left the other picture up.
Yeah, I know. So I just think that picture's funny. So, anyways, yeah, but I mean, we all know whose division this is. I think I'm going to start at the bottom of the division, and I think who's going to be there. I think it's actually a coin flip who could be in the bottom of the division, because I think you could make a case that all three other teams could be at the bottom. I think you could.
Yeah, I agree.
I really don't know who it's going to be. I mean, I'm not trying to talk poorly on the other three teams in that division, but I mean, I don't know. I personally, I think I'm going to start with the team that I think will be last in that division. I mean, who do you think it is then? Because maybe we agree upon.
Yeah. Last in that division, Z, I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'm sorry. I'm going Denver. I think that Bo Nix is interesting. He's 24. He definitely fits Sean Payton's idea, because the thing is with Denver the last year, Russell Wilson wasn't who Sean Payton wanted. Sean Payton wanted somebody that's going to resemble Drew Brees. That's what he wanted. And Bo Nix was probably the guy that was probably the most trait-wise realistic to possibly maybe that vision of his. There's, I think, some interesting aspects to his game. I think there's also some aspects as well that doesn't really maybe, I don't know, that's going to really take some time to develop, of course. But he's starting week 1. He's got a strong arm. He had some really nice moments in the preseason. But when we look at really Denver as a whole, I mean, really offensively, it doesn't move the needle for me. I think because they were selling their pieces last year. They were selling pieces. They were moving some guys. Um, Sean Payton completely overhauled the coaching staff last year. I think Denver's in a situation where obviously you take Bo Nix with pick 12. He's your hope to eventually transition into your future guy because they've had such a hard time finding that since Peyton Manning. But I think it's just going to take a lot of time with MZ. They have a level of direction. It hasn't fully come to fruition. I think it's going to take a couple years. I think at least a couple years to get that going. But I'm going with them as being last because outside of maybe a couple guys on their defense, they just don't move me easy. And I honestly think that Sean Payton's a little bit of a migraine myself. So I'm putting them as last Z. I'm gonna give Denver maybe 5 to 6 wins this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want to pull up. No, maybe I'm not going to pull it up, but I think 5-6 wins is a fair mark.
Yeah,
like I agree with you. I think Sean Payton is just kind of like a nuisance.
yeah. I think he's
No
really
way.
just past his time, to be honest.
Are these the Bo Nix ones I was looking for? No, I think this is freaking whatever his name. Who's the other who's the other quarterback? Stidham. Is that who it is?
Stidham and Zach Wilson.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really care about the Broncos this year, but I will say I'm happy about Bo Nix. I actually liked him coming out of college, so I think he's paired with the right head coach. Even though I just said Sean Payton could be a nuisance, I enjoyed listening to him when he was on television.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is with Denver is that like it's just going to be just a year of development, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, like that's okay. Like if it, I don't expect them to make a jump when they have the number 10 overall or whatever he was drafted. Being the starter week 1. I think they're making the right decision starting week 1.
Oh, 100%. 100%. If you're a Broncos fan, you want Bow and Arrow to be starting week 1. You don't want to watch Zach Wilson. You don't want to watch Jared Stidham.
Absolutely not. Jared Stidham.
Who wants to watch that?
Take that guy out of the league.
Yeah. Seriously, who wants to watch that at this rate? So are you going with Denver as the last place team here?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
I think I know who you're going to pick.
Yeah. I actually think they'll be like, I think they're could be one of those teams that like start off the season kind of sneaky, or they'll end the season strong just because they have a young team. Now, yeah, they lost Justin Simmons and, for some reason they cut Tim Patrick. So, I don't know. Like they have a decent team. Their offensive line is not too bad. They still have Cortland Sutton. They still have Javonte Williams. They still have, what's his name? Patrick Surtain. So they still have a lot of good young pieces on the team. But like, yeah, they're definitely not going to be contending. And they're definitely not going to be contending for a division. So no, I'm not going to pick them last. I don't know. These 3 teams we're going to talk about, I'm not going to put them in a spot. I'm just for sure not putting them 1 in a wild card, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Yeah. And 2, they're obviously not winning the division.
Yeah. So we can agree. All 3 of these teams aren't winning the division and they're not making the playoffs.
No.
Right.
No. So I guess moving on to, I think the team that'll be last.
Aiden O'Connell?
Nope. Chargers.
Interesting.
Yep. Chargers. This is where this is the tough thing, right? Is because I might get flamed for this one because it's like, oh my God, the Chargers have so much talent on the defensive side of the ball. They still have Justin Herbert, even though this guy's overhyped every single year.
Injured.
Yeah. But like,
he's dating Taylor Biscotti.
Yeah. Who?
I don't know, some woman that works for NFL Network.
Oh, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did think about putting them like not last because I think it's kind of like, I don't know, dude. Like putting them last now that they have Jim Harbaugh as the coach. I'm kind of second guessing what I just said because like Jim Harbaugh's never been a guy that, he's never been a guy that he's at a terrible team. So
Yeah.
I mean, I got to pay respect to Jim Harbaugh, who he is. So I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna put the Raiders last. Even though the Raiders have some nice defensive pieces, no, I'm gonna put the chart. I'm not putting the Chargers last. Jim Harbaugh is obviously just won the national championship. The Chargers are not gonna be good. I'm just gonna throw that out there. They're not gonna make the playoffs. I don't even think they'll have a winning record. But I think Jim Harbaugh is definitely going to, just like he's done everywhere with Stanford, with the Niners, with Michigan. I think he's going to, I don't know, just elevate the miserable coaching they had last year
Bring a
with
new culture
what the hell was that guy's name last year?
for who?
The Chargers. What was his name?
Oh, what's
He
his
was
face?
awful. He was awful. Yeah, what was his name? I can't
Staley.
remember. Yeah. What's his first name?
Brandon, right? Brand Staley. Is that his name?
I don't have a clue.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to know how relevant the guy is.
Yeah. I think. I just looked it up. Brandon Staley.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Okay, so again, I take back what I said about them being last. I think I'll put the Raiders last after really kind of thinking. I don't know like what win total I'll put them at. I think I'll put them at the same as the Raiders. I think that's all I really have to say. I mean, their defensive pieces have always been kind of good, but like one, they're either aging, or two, they're never on the field.
Yeah. And I don't think those defensive pieces, honestly, like have really helped them move the needle.
No.
Like Bosa and Mack and Derwin, like those are good players. But what's it really moved for them? Nothing.
I mean, your best receiver on the team is Quentin Johnston,
Josh Palmer,
God, freaking Lad McConkey
missing. That's just a horrific photo.
Yeah, they took both running backs from the Ravens. I mean, cool. Like I know people will say like Gus Edwards has been solid over the couple years. Like Dobbins was good 2 years ago before he's got hurt every single year. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. I'm not going to talk bad about them because they played on the Ravens for multiple years, and the Ravens had a great running game with them. But at the same time, they had Lamar Jackson. They don't have a running game with Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where their offense is going to go. I've always been a fan of J.K. Dobbins. I hope he puts in a healthy season. It's going to be really weird to see the both of them. And what's funny enough is Greg Roman, who used to be the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, is now the offensive play caller for the Chargers.
Well, there you go. So now you know it's going to be a mess.
Yeah. And Jim Harbaugh, the brother of John.
Yeah.
So it's like, I love how they took everybody from the Ravens and brought him over there. So, I mean, their running game might be decent as long as J.K. Dobbins does not have another season-ending injury. And I think if he does, I mean, it might be time to hang it. Blew out his knee in his second year, came back third year, and then fourth year, first game of the year last season, tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
So he's played only 2 seasons.
Way to stay healthy.
Yeah, just more of like a season and a half, truly.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about the Chargers. And they have Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Khalil Mack.
Yeah. I think they had such a missed opportunity the last couple years, having Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Eckler, who was playing well, and you're drafting a couple new linemen. They really did. They had a missed opportunity last couple years, and now they're kind of wanting to renew their culture with Harbaugh there.
The biggest hope is this guy right here.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, that's the thing. Is this a genuine smile, or is this like a smile with pain in his heart that he actually left Michigan?
There's a smile that he now lives in California and has plenty of money to live there.
Yeah.
So, and he doesn't have to deal with the Michigan winter.
I'm sure he has quite a bit of control with that organization as well.
I'm sure he does.
So, I believe in Harbaugh and Jim that he can bring change to what that organization's wanting. I respect him as a coach and everything like that. I think he's a little weird too, but you have Herbert there, who is a guy that can transform into a top quarterback. He can, but Right now, I think the Chargers are in a renewal state, and I think maybe in next year or even possibly the year after that, they'll get a little bit more of an identity.
Mm.
So I kind of view the Chargers. Yeah, I agree. I think we're probably going to look around 6 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying while you were speaking there, trying to pull up their schedule because I feel like every single year, especially the last like decade, even when Phillip Rivers was there. I know this could be hard to see, but even when Phillip Rivers was there, I mean, week 1 Raiders, week 2 Panthers, week 3 Steelers, Chiefs, bye, Broncos, Cardinals, Saints, Browns, Titans, Bengals, Ravens. I'm not gonna say the rest.
Yeah.
So like the Chargers every single year are always a team that gets overhyped. We all know this.
Yep.
And now here we are this year where they've lost.
Never forget last year. Never forget last year. Oh, the South is so good. Peyton, Wilson,
The West.
the West. I mean, Chargers, Chiefs. AFC is just gonna be a juggernaut. And what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Complete dumpster fire.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, look at the Chargers. It's a renewal state for them. If you're a Chargers fan, I would be excited about Harbaugh and that there's actual hope that there's going to be some change to this culture that's there, and especially with their coaching staff that's just gone through the freaking shredder.
Yep.
There's a lack of talent on offense, 100%. That's going to take, I think, a couple seasons to build through their draft, through free agency. Obviously, continual development of Justin Herbert, who I do like, but again, there's potential for him to really come through as a top guy, but it hasn't happened yet. You have some names on the defense, you really do, but it's not going to move the needle for them this year. That's just the reality of it. There's not enough there. There's a lot of newness, and that's fine. Going on with, let's move on to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Dameon Pierce is officially the new head coach.
I like that.
Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback.
Don't like that.
Josh Jacobs is gone. Devontae Adams is there. They draft Brock Bowers in the first round of the draft. They still have Max Crosby. Defensively, their defense has kind of been missing the last few seasons. But I feel like what we saw with Pierce, that a lot of that's his name, right?
Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Pierce, right? Antonio Pierce. I think I actually said Michael Pierce. Antonio Pierce.
Michael Pierce.
Yeah, I know. It seems like that the players really wanted to play for him as he kind of took over last year. And I think it was the right decision to hire him and to be their guy. The Raiders, again, I'm not really quite sure what the direction is. I feel like, Z, that they're going to be drafting a quarterback next year. I feel like there's a high possibility as well. Maybe they get Dak Prescott, but that's beside the point. This season, they're kind of in a flux of you're kind of getting Gardner as a Band-Aid. You don't really believe in Aiden O'Connell too much. The Zaire White guy, who knows what this guy's going to do. But it just seems like they're trying to figure themselves out. They're trying to figure out their identity. They're not one of these teams that are kind of like in a process of rebuilding or getting a little bit past their rebuild where they have that direction. It seems like the Raiders right now are in a state of flux, kind of a bit of a fog of not really sure what they are right now, but I think they'll get more clarity of that next year.
Well, here's their quarterback coming in the year.
Yeah.
What's funny is I don't hate Gardner Minshew.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Z, he's just boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just boring. He's just boring to me.
Who did he start his career with? The Colts? Is that right? Was it the Colts?
He was Jacksonville.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was with Jacksonville. He was with the Colts last year. I think he was a backup with the Eagles at one point as well.
Yeah, the year before, I think.
Yeah.
So
went to the Colts last year, started most of the season, and then now so that's the thing. He's a Band-Aid quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that. He's a bottom tier bridge starter with a high end backup end for himself. And that's fine. That's completely fine.
That's fine.
But the Raiders, and I think you pretty much agree with what I'm saying, I think next year is where they're really going to find their identity in terms of their direction of their franchise. I think this year it's kind of like, hey, we got to see what we have. We might end up be a little better than we think. We might not be as good as what we think, but there's a little bit of talent there. There's a lot of question. I think next year you get more solidification in terms of their direction.
Well, I think this guy right here is one the highest paid on the team. I think it's either him or now that they just signed Christian Wilkins. I mean, we could see this guy traded halfway through the season.
We could. Maybe the Steelers may call.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many teams that you can name. I mean, shoot, maybe even him going back to Green Bay.
Possibly.
I mean, I'm not saying Devontae is like towards the end of his career, but I think he's 30 now. So it's
Yeah, he's
like,
he still has he still has years left.
yeah, and he doesn't want to be a guy that is going to be on a rebuilding team.
No,
Um,
no.
so yeah, I do think the Raiders like have like a small bit of potential maybe to be good, but
Yeah,
we all know what's going to limit them. It's
yeah.
just going to be the quarterback position.
Well, that's what it's going to be, and that's why I think they get more of an identity next year, whether they draft one of these guys in the first round or maybe they go after Dak Prescott.
Yeah, because they drafted Bowers, they have Jacoby Myers, who's decent. I think they still have Hunter
Yeah,
Renfro.
they're not talentless, and that's just why I have them finishing second in the division.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them. I could see it, but also like I don't know if I trust Damian Pierce as like a full time head coach.
Damian,
Or Antonio.
you never forget you drafted that guy in the third round last year, Z.
Yeah, I did a miserable pick. Miserable pick. Guy went undrafted this year. I think he's running back 3
Yeah,
on
he
the
is.
Texans.
Yeah, he is. So
I do like Antonio Pierce. He was he was defense coordinator for I think Arizona State at one point. So I honestly hope they do well because I don't like wish anything bad upon the Raiders. I'm going to see them actually week 2 of the season because I'll be going up to Baltimore for that.
there it is.
So I guess I'll see that. I mean, their running game is nothing to be afraid of,
No.
unless Zamir White. He is a young back, so you never know.
Yeah.
I will say the strength of their team is definitely defensive front. I mean, they have Crosby and
for sure.
Wilkins, and that's going to terrorize probably Lamar Jackson week 2 and many other quarterbacks the rest of the season as long as they're healthy. So, that's what I meant by like before we started talking about these 3 teams. I think all 3 of these teams are like a coin flip on who you could put in last place in the division.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. I'd be absolutely shell shocked if one of them won division because they won't. But I would definitely be surprised if one of them snuck out a wild card.
Yeah.
Nothing bad to say about them. All 3 of them are just rebuilding teams.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah. I'm kind of looking at the Raiders with maybe around 7 wins, 7-10. I think looking at the Broncos and the Chargers, maybe between 5 to 6. Z, I don't really. Do you want to get in the Chiefs at all? Do you want to really dissect the Chiefs at all, or not really?
Well, we'll obviously bring them up just out of the respect of them. Just winning the Super Bowl. But maybe more in a way of we are less than a week away from seeing them play against the Baltimore Ravens and a rematch of the AFC Championship. So I don't think there's like much to really talk about when it comes to the Chiefs. I think sure we could spend a few minutes speaking about them. I'm not going to sit here and break down their roster because we know who's there. We know they added Hollywood Brown. We know they drafted Xavier Worthy. We know they still have Andy Reid at play caller. Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey re-signed. Pacheco is back.
Yep.
I mean, just their core is still there. They re-signed Chris Jones the offseason.
They've done a good job of drafting. I think that they have a decent defense as well.
I think the only thing that they lost was just their cornerback, Tre'Davious Ward, I think his name is.
Jadarius Sneed. Ward was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. So they gave up Sneed. Not really sure who they replaced him with. So, that's and then they just like literally brought back Juju.
Yeah, I know. Which honestly, at least for his sake, makes sense.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
I believe it or not, like what's kind of scary about it is I do think like Mahomes now has maybe the best like targets he's had during his career. Yeah. I mean, I know he had Tyreek Hill at one point but I mean, I feel like the fact now that they brought on Juju, they still have Kelsey, they, Rashee Rice, even though he should be behind bars.
Yep.
They just signed this worthy guy. There's speed everywhere.
It really is.
It's going to be hard to cover. It's going to be hard to cover.
No, it is. It definitely is. Yeah, honestly, Z, I'm picking the Chiefs to three-peat this year.
Interesting.
I'm picking them to three-peat. They're going to be the first team to ever do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big statement.
Yeah. I think they're going to be the first team to ever do it. I have full-fledged faith in them. I think that it's crazy because usually after a team wins a title or a Super Bowl or something like that, you usually start to see, like we kind of saw with the Eagles, they usually start to unload, they lose guys, things like that. The Chiefs have just done such a good job at drafting the last 2 to 3 seasons. And that has been such a huge part, aside from Patrick Mahomes, of course, you're going to win regardless with him. But to fill out your defense, not that I'm not saying they have a top 10 defense, but they have a defense good enough to offset their offense. Let me put it that way. And I think they've just done such a good job drafting these last 2-3 years. It's helped them sustain this.
Yeah.
And you look at their O-line and just the investment that they've put in that. So yeah, I'm picking them to three-peat Z this year. I can reveal who I think the opponent's going to be. I'm going a rematch of a Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl. Chiefs three-peat, Eagles fall short again.
Yeah. I was going to pull up, even though, this play still gives me nightmares to this day, because this was really, the deciding factor of the Chiefs winning the AFC Championship.
Yep.
I mean, literally a foot away from Ravens being down by 3.
Just an idiot.
Yeah.
How do you not hang on to that?
Yeah. So yeah, you kind of wish he didn't do that, because that's obviously a first down, and the Ravens will just run in the ball.
Right.
But this play, this is not about the Ravens yet.
No.
Just showing a play that
look at Odell. Look at Odell standing there.
I don't know if he even had a catch during that game.
Probably not. He's already out the first month anyway this year.
And I know it's time for him to go.
It's time to go. It's time to go. Time to go. Get out of the league. Nobody wants you here anymore. You had 3 good years. That was about it.
So I mean, this play, I'm not saying this play won the Chiefs a Super Bowl, but just as a Ravens fan, and obviously that one was just the dagger to them getting there. And I think them this season, pulling up their schedule as always, the Chiefs always have like kind of that one point where they struggle, and then the media like overreacts, and that'll probably happen again. Like, I mean, maybe they'll lose to the Ravens on Thursday, and then you'll have all these people on ESPN saying like, oh, like, are the Ravens going to take over the Chiefs? And they need something to talk about.
Yep, of course they do. Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, I hear you, Z. But I think that really we kind of broke this down pretty well. In terms of looking at the AFC West
Chiefs win division.
Year. Yeah, Chiefs win the division. Probably gonna be the 1 seed. Yeah. At worst, probably the 2. And
biggest competition is probably Baltimore. I'll not gonna throw Houston in there yet. Probably Cincinnati, because Cincinnati's beat them in the playoffs, and then maybe Buffalo, because they face Buffalo every single year. And until one of those teams, either the Bengals do it again, or one of those other teams actually beat them, you got to give respect to the top dogs in the AFC. I think they have a very likely chance of repeating for the 3rd time.
100%. So, but yeah, we're going to leave it there, guys. That is part 5.
Fooey.
Yep. This is save it for the stream. This is part 5 of mine and Z's NFL division by division breakdown heading into the 2024 season. Let us know if you guys agree in the comment section with these kind of at least this breakdown, kind of our thoughts on probably some of the placement and really our topic and discussion, everything. The next video you guys are going to see, we're going to be talking about the AFC South.
Yay.
And then to wrap up this 8-part series, we'll be talking about the AFC East, and we'll be talking about the AFC North, and that will probably those videos will probably go a little bit longer. And everything like that. So we're excited to do that and finish that off and cap that off. And you guys will start to continue to see more gameplay of NCAA on here. Z, anything else that you want to say before we get that out here?
Next video right there to the right, all the quarterbacks. Unbelievable how young those guys are, and we'll get to that in our next video. So interesting division to talk about. I think we all know who's going to win the division, even though there's maybe a possibility the Jags could sneak it out again. You never know. But yeah, we'll throw some NCAA gameplay on here soon. Did stream Black Ops 6 the other day on the beta, so maybe we can throw that in there with NCAA. So we'll see. But I appreciate you guys. See you guys for part 6.
Yeah, we will see you guys for part